Have you been seeing hashtag Wewantcody all over Twitter? I'm not calling it X, and wondering what it means? Are you confused as to why Black Adam is showing up on your TikToks and telling Cody crybabies to shove chicken nuggets up their you-know-where? Are you wondering what exactly people mean by,
"You've got to finish the story"?
Don't worry, I'm here to make it all make sense. Pro wrestling is red hot right now, and I've had tons of people ask me to kind of explain what's going on as a bit of a wrestling fan myself. This video is designed for non-wrestling fans, but I'm assuming you know a little bit about wrestling here. For example, you probably know that the Royal Rumble is held every January, where 30 men enter the ring, and the one person left standing gets their shot of the champion of their choice at WrestleMania, right? You know that, right? Good. Without further ado, here is Cody versus Roman for Dummies. Dummies meaning non-wrestling fans, because if you're not a wrestling fan, what are you doing? Wrestling's awesome. In order to finish the story, this is not the last time you're going to hear me say that, I have to give you a little backstory on some of the major and not so major players. Brock Lesnar and Vince McMahon. These two are the most minor players to this story, but there is some relevance here with some of their actions outside of the ring. The point of this is not to get into the minutia of what terrible things they did, but basically, Vince McMahon was the owner of the WWE for a very long time. They recently sold it to a new company that's combining the UFC and the WWE into one called TKO. And Vince was still on the board, but a lawsuit came out recently highlighting some really awful, terrible behavior by him while he owned the WWE. And he resigned, thankfully. I'm not going to get into detail, but let's just say he deserves to burn in hell. Look it up if you want to know more. I guarantee you don't. Brock Lesnar, on the other hand, was a major star for the WWE for a long time. He had been on a bit of hiatus since August, where he lost to, believe it or not, Cody Rhodes in a match at SummerSlam. He was set to make his return in the Royal Rumble, but he was implicated in this lawsuit with Vince McMahon as well as having some pretty horrible behavior. Let's just say he deserves to sit right next to Vince McMahon, where I said he deserves to go earlier. This caused the WWE to change some of their plans. CM Punk. CM Punk is a very controversial character in wrestling. Loved by many, hated by many, especially my girlfriend Tara. He became a star for a number of years with the WWE. He left WWE in 2014 being burnt out, injured, and just soured on wrestling as a whole. There was lawsuits, there was podcasts, falling outs with friends. Again, this is a different story that doesn't matter, but it needs a little context. After largely retiring from wrestling for about 7 years, he magically showed up in All Elite Wrestling in August of 2021. He fought through a few injuries and coworkers on his way to being fired from AEW after a backstage scuffle with Jungle Boy Jack Perry, son of Luke Perry of 90210 fame. That's right, folks, professional wrestling. CM Punk returned to the WWE for the first time in almost 10 years in November of 2023 at Survivor Series in his hometown of Chicago to big fanfare. One of the largest, loudest pops you'll ever hear. No one thought he would ever return. It was a huge deal, but as they say in wrestling, never say never. He wrestled his first televised match in January's Royal Rumble, where he came up short to none other than Cody Rhodes. Also notably, he tore his tricep muscle in that match, putting him out of commission for a few months, which caused the WWE to change some plans. Seth freaking Rollins. Seth freaking Rollins has been a workhorse in the WWE for a long time now. With his funny outfits, chantable theme song, and incredible ring work, a lot of people have compared him to this generation's Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh yeah. In May of 2023, Seth freaking Rollins won the newly revealed World Heavyweight Champion from A Little Bit of Chicken Fried. This title was introduced to make up for the fact that Roman Reigns has rarely defended his undisputed title outside of a few big shows a year. They wanted a fighting champion, and they got it in Seth freaking Rollins. He's officially defended his title 11 times since winning it. Remember this number for later. During his last title defense against Jinder Mahal in January, he tore his MCL and partially tore his meniscus. This seemed like really bad news for him, but he, the next week, came out and announced that he would not be vacating the title despite the injury and would be ready for WrestleMania. This is another reason WWE might have changed some plans. Roman Reigns, the head of the table, the tribal chief. Roman Reigns may be the most dominant champion in the modern era. As of this recording, Roman has held the title for 1,257 days, putting him fourth all time on the list behind Hulk Hogan, Bob Backlund, and Bruno Sammartino. He's defended the title 31 times during that reign, which if you kind of compare to Rollins' 11 in a much shorter amount of time, is very sparingly. I think he defended it like 4 times last year overall. He's not even showing up to TV very much. And so this has kind of caused people to be a little bored with his run. What I've heard a lot of people say, it doesn't matter how long he's held it if he's not ever defending it. You can say what you want about how little he's defended the title, but what you can't say is the quality of opponents he's defeated. LA Knight, Randy Orton, a little bit of chicken fried, and even Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 39. Roman is also the latest in a long line of Samoan wrestlers from the Anoa'i family. This includes members like Rikishi, Yokozuna, Jimmy and Jey Uso, High Chief Peter Maivia, and one other very famous member of his family that Roman Reigns has never faced off in the ring before, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. You know this guy even if you don't know wrestling. One of the biggest stars of all time in entertainment, not just wrestling. He hasn't wrestled a legitimate match in the WWE since 2013. And even then, that was a comeback tour. His time in wrestling was very brief but very bright. He's considered one of the greatest stars of wrestling's greatest era, the Attitude Era, with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, The Undertaker. The list goes on. But he's among those guys, and a lot of people put him in the wrestling Mount Rushmore to this day. Although he hasn't wrestled since 2013, he's made many appearances that pretty much boil down to stuff like this.
3, 2, 1.
For a long time, people have been asking for The Rock versus Roman Reigns. There were even rumors that it was supposed to happen at last year's WrestleMania, and as always, something fell through for The Rock. He's a very busy man. He's shown up a few times recently, but most notably, the beginning of the year on January 1st, he came out and asked the crowd, should he be at the head of the table? It seems they were setting a confrontation for WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, has had a long road to relevancy in the WWE. The son of legend Dusty Rhodes, Cody has always seemed to be in his father's shadow. He had some success in the WWE when he was younger in his first run, but eventually was made into the character Stardust, a joke spin-off character of his brother's popular Goldust character. Cody put his whole Stardussy into Stardust, but eventually became frustrated at the character's lack of direction and success. Cody saw himself as a top star, and it didn't seem like the WWE felt the same way. So when his contract was up, he left. Cody went to all the indies and the international promotions and made a name for himself again as the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. His dad was known as the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And so you can see it's funny because it's like Nightmare, Dream, ha ha. He also got this really terrible neck tattoo. The neck tattoo is awful. Eventually, he joined up with some other popular indie wrestlers, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, more to be named, and started a company called AEW with billionaire Tony Khan. After having a kind of decent run there, he left. He was never the top champion, and it seemed like he had a problem with being the guy in charge, but also being the company's champion. Cody returned to the WWE after 6 years as the mystery opponent for Seth freaking Rollins at WrestleMania 38. He was successful and started a program of Rollins where he'd win all 3 matches, the last one being the most notable. Before the match, Cody tore his bicep clean off and wrestled the match. Here's a video of Cody taking off his coat to reveal this torn pectoral muscle. It's gnarly. You guys, look at that. Yeah.
Oh my God. Gentlemen.
Despite this, he still competed in a critically acclaimed match with Rollins. He then took some time off to heal the injury. His return came at that next year's Royal Rumble, which they pre-announced. Cody Rhodes is entering the Royal Rumble. He will return. He entered at number 30, eliminated Gunther, and won. He was going to WrestleMania. Cody made it very clear, even before tearing his pectoral muscle and missing that time, that he wanted to be the guy. He wanted to win the title and finish the story that his dad never did. You see, Dusty never won the world title. There was one particular match in the 70s at Madison Square Garden where he won a title match by countout. But if you know anything about wrestling, you know you cannot win a title by countout or disqualification. So Dusty held the title in his hands and it was torn away from him as he actually did not win it. And that has been on Cody's mind since the passing of his father, and now he wants to finish the story. Cody fought valiantly at WrestleMania, but throughout most of Roman Reigns' reign, is that how Roman Reigns' reign? Throughout that, he's had help outside interference from the bloodline, especially Solo Sikoa, his cousin. They tend to interfere in his matches and get him the win, and that's what happened here. People were shocked. I thought Cody was going to win. Tara, my girlfriend, who had recently became a new wrestling fan, stayed up late to watch the match and stormed upstairs saying, "This is fucking bullshit," as she went to bed because she wanted to see Cody win. We were shocked. We were told by multiple people that the story in WWE never finishes and to stay tuned. The rest of Cody's year was kind of in a holding pattern. He barely interacted with Reigns. He saw some good wins against Brock Lesnar, members of the Judgment Day, and even won the tag titles with main event Jey Uso. But all the while, fans have been patiently waiting for him to finish the story. Whew. All right, so now that I've set the major players and not so major players, let's get what you came for. What the hell is going on here? Let me lay out this timeline for you with stuff we've kind of already mentioned. CM Punk shows up back in WWE and announces that he's going to be in the Royal Rumble and he wants to win to take his spot at WrestleMania in the main event, which he's never done. A lot of people will tell you that CM Punk should have main evented WrestleMania in 2013 when The Rock actually came in and did. Sound familiar? The Rock himself shows up at that episode of Raw and says, "Hey, should I be the head of the table?" Also, I didn't mention, The Rock has recently joined the board of directors at TKO, the parent company of WWE and UFC. And they made a big deal about this because it was around the time that the allegations against Vince McMahon had showed up. Seth freaking Rollins tears those ligaments in his legs, but then announces he'll be ready for WrestleMania. A few days before the Rumble, the Vince McMahon scandal hits, implicating himself and Brock Lesnar, who was supposed to be in the Rumble, but gets replaced by Braun Breaker. The Rumble happens. Cody and Punk are the final two. The crowd is loving this. Either of these guys could win and they'd be happy. Cody throws Punk out and is the winner. He points at Roman Reigns in the stands and points at the WrestleMania sign. It's clear who his choice is. Worthy of note, CM Punk tears his tricep in this match, and he's not going to be ready for WrestleMania. And this is when things start to get weird, because it seems like everything's sort of going to plan. The Raw after the Royal Rumble, Seth Rollins comes out, says he's going to be fine for WrestleMania, and challenges Cody Rhodes to challenge him instead of Roman Reigns. He says that his title is the working man's title, the title that Cody's dad, Dusty, would have wanted to win, not the Hollywood title that barely gets defended and has Roman cheat every time to win. Cody seems conflicted, as he didn't even think about this, but he tells Rollins he'll think about it. On SmackDown later that week, Roman Reigns makes a rare appearance. He comes out with the rest of the bloodline and kind of cooks Seth Rollins up on a platter here. And let me just say, we are so far away from the Roman Reigns who was saying suffering succotash and not good on the mic. This guy really brought it here, and he's one of the top bad guys in WWE on the mic. Anyway, midway through this, Cody comes out. Cody gives kind of a strange promo where he talks about how he doesn't want to just take away the title from Roman, but he wants to take everything. But then he ends the promo by saying this.
"I am coming for you, Roman Reigns, but not at WrestleMania." I mentioned taking counsel. Roman, one of the individuals I talked to, he knows you very well.
If you smile,
The reaction in the arena was huge, but the internet exploded. Cody got cucked. I know a guy sitting in the cuck chair in the hotel room watching his wife get plowed, and that's this guy right here. Hashtag #WeWantCody blew up on Twitter. Again, I'm not calling it X. And it trended for 72 hours straight. Cody somehow became a bigger star by getting cucked. Although people had wanted Rock versus Roman for years, they did not want it at the expense of Cody's story. The Rock started to become villainized on the internet, something people didn't think could happen. I saw quotes that said, "I wish Black Adam had made money so The Rock would leave us alone. He's 51 years old. He can't wrestle anymore. No one wants to see this." The hot takes were everywhere. Personally, I was a bit disappointed. I want to see Cody finish his story. I'm not against The Rock wrestling Roman Reigns, but I don't know that's a super interesting story. Cody's been the face of the company for a few years now and is over as any babyface has ever been. And it feels like they're sliding him a bit by not allowing him to do this. The rumor was that WWE was very nervous about a couple things. One, trying to overshadow this Vince McMahon scandal, so people stopped asking them about it. And two, losing Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, and possibly Rollins as big stars for WrestleMania said, hey, we got to get The Rock in here. And some say it was The Rock's idea as a member of the TKO board. No matter the reason, fans were upset. The next Monday night on Raw, Seth and Cody met again. The crowd chanted, "Rocky sucks," before the segment could even start. And it seemed like everybody was surprised by that. Seth pleaded again with Cody to challenge him. Not only did he think he was fighting for the right belt, but he wanted another chance to beat Cody. See, since Cody's been back, he's kind of whacked Seth every time they've wrestled. He's 3-0 against him. Seth wants a chance to get those wins back. As they're talking, they're interrupted by Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, I didn't talk about him in the beginning, but he's a major player here in the WWE, and he's gotten a lot over. He's been taunting CM Punk since his injury. He was a champion during the pandemic when there were no crowds in the arena, and so he feels like his experience was lesser than a typical champion, and he wants to win the title again in front of everybody, but he's gone too far. He's become a bad guy trying to make this happen for himself. So I think this is where things maybe were pivoting for the WWE, because I don't think they expected The Rock to get booed and to get the Rocky Sucks chance. I just don't think they expected that. I don't think they expected people to be as passionate about Cody Rhodes as they are. Now, some people will tell you they haven't pivoted. This was the plan all along. I don't think they could predict this. I don't think this was the plan all along. We'll get more on that later, but I just want to say I don't think they predicted this. At some point during all this, I don't remember exactly when, WWE announced a WrestleMania 40 kickoff press conference to be held in Las Vegas. The Rock's going to be there, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, among others. So were they going to pivot? Were they going to double down? The morning of the press conference, The Rock shows up on Pat McAfee's talk show and says this.
Did you expect a reaction whenever you came back to be what it was? Or was it kind of came out of nowhere?
With regards to WrestleMania, Rock and Roman together?
Yes, with Cody Rhodes.
With Cody here.
Yes.
I expected it. We expected it because it's right there. Again, you go back, and again, you like to think, hey, I got my finger on the pulse. We all try to keep the finger on the pulse. Ultimately, what the fans want and what they're saying. And sometimes, oftentimes, as you guys know, in sports and entertainment and anywhere, regardless of the vertical of business you're in, there's a wave of noise that happens right out of the gate.
Immediate.
That you want to just pause for a second. Let's not make any rash decisions. Let's wait and see how it all shakes out and see what happens from there. So it was just a matter of waiting. So now I was not surprised at it. I did expect it. But here's the fun part about this is you have, and by the way, I've known Cody for a long time. He's a buddy of mine. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and my old man, Soul Man, Rocky Johnson, they were boys. They tag teamed together down in Florida. We used to go over to the Rhodes house a lot all the time when I was growing up. And so we're tight in that way. I love Cody. I love his passionate fans. Then there's the other passionate fans of Cody.
Yep.
And they're called the, what's that? Oh, Cody Crybabies. Yeah, that's what they're called.
Okay, all right. Okay, got it. I didn't know the name that was coming.
It was the Cody Crybabies,
Yeah, okay.
and these are grown-ass men. And Cody got to finish his story. He had to finish his story right now. It's like, wait a second, hold on. Hey, Dad, you want to go outside and play catch with me? Not now. Cody's got to finish, and I'm upset. The wife comes in. Hey, honey, do you want to go have sex? Not now. Cody's got to finish his story. At the end of the day, Look, you got the Cody crybabies, and you have the Cody fans, and then you have Cody himself, and there's a clear distinction between the three. But The Rock says this: those Cody crybabies, the ones for every 10 tweets, they're shoving a chicken McNugget in their mouth. For every 20 tweets, they're shoving 2 McNuggets up their ass.
What?
The Rock says this: all you got to do is sit back, know your role, shut your mouth, and enjoy the ride that The Rock is going to take your candy asses on. So hashtag that. Hashtag shut your bitch asses up. Hashtag Cody crybabies. Yes, the man. Okay.
Yes, I love this. Is the Great One back? The reason The Rock got popular in the 90s and early 2000s was because of things like this: insulting people, being funny, doing the Rock says this, The Rock says that. He went into character immediately on the show, and you can see Pat McAfee's eyes light up. It's incredible. This is what we wanted. The Rock typically wouldn't do this since he's become a big movie star, because I think there was a worry about him tarnishing his image as this squeaky clean movie guy. So for him to come in and say people are shoving chicken nuggets up their ass, like that's incredible. I'm inviting this. So in my head, I'm like, I saw that morning. I said, are they pivoting on this? Sure enough, the press conference came, and it was awesome. Seth Rollins comes out first. He's saying, hey, Cody's going to make a decision. He looks like if the Wizard of Oz sold cars for some reason. I don't know why he's dressed like that. But then Roman Reigns interrupts him and says, hey, I'm the big dog. I make the decision now. But we all know that's not how it works. We know the winner of the Royal Rumble gets to pick who they fight. Then The Rock comes out, and it seems like Roman is inviting The Rock to challenge him at this point. Where before it seemed as they were at odds, now it seems like this is the plan for both of them. And The Rock shows his family tree. And at the top are Roman and The Rock's grandfathers, who made a blood pact. And The Rock tells everybody, if you don't think that this is the best family in wrestling, and if you don't think The Rock versus Roman Reigns is the best main event for WrestleMania, and in Rock speak, it doesn't matter what you think. And it's then I go, oh, they're doing this. They're doing this. They're turning The Rock heel. This is so exciting. Cody interrupts, and he's seen enough. He says it's bullshit. And he's challenging Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Roman comes back and says he's an idiot and you shouldn't do this. And then Cody cooks the man. Here, I'll show you yourself. Hopefully we don't get copyright stricken, but watch this.
You're irrelevant, just like your dad.
Here you are talking about family. Is that what the bloodline is? Let me ask you a question. How's Jay? It's not a family. You're a meal ticket, and they are nothing but lackeys, but yes men. They're goons. And what is this match all about right here? Who sits at the head of the table? What does it matter when neither of you have been doing any of the cooking for 2 years? Earlier, we had that family tree up there, and you've invoked my father before, so let me go ahead and do the same. If your grandfather was here, if the High Chief, his grandfather, was here, they'd be ashamed of you.
Let me make something perfectly clear to you. When you talk about his family, you're talking about my family. When you're talking about his ancestors, you're talking about my ancestors. And when you're talking about his blood, you're talking about my blood. So now, we have a problem.
bullcrap, man. This is bullcrap. They don't just get to do whatever they want.
I'll slap you again.
You don't get to just do whatever you want.
That's what we do.
No, you don't.
Yes, we do. Yes, we
You don't
do.
get to do whatever you want.
Wow. The Rock smacks Cody. They invoke the fact that he's on the TKO board. The Rock's cussing him out. Roman immediately retreats to stand behind The Rock as the subservient one. This is incredible. I don't know where they're going to go with this. I don't know if there's going to be a tag match. I don't think Rollins is ready to wrestle yet. I don't know if they're going to do a triple threat. But right now, it seems like The Rock and Roman Reigns are aligned versus Cody. But they've made it official. It's Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania. They pivoted. I don't think they planned this. I really don't. But that's the great thing about wrestling to me is like other sports, you can't manufacture these storylines on a whim, right? Florida State in college football this year, they went undefeated. Their quarterback gets hurt. They don't get picked for the playoffs because their quarterback gets hurt because they want to have the best games possible, right? That sucks, right? The 12-0 team should have been given a chance to do their thing. That kind of stuff doesn't happen in wrestling because they're able to pivot. They're able to go, hey, this isn't working so well. It's the stuff people accuse the NFL of when they're saying, oh, the Super Bowl's rigged, right? That's actually what the WWE is, and it's great because it makes for better storytelling, and it makes for them to be able to pivot and do things that other sports can't. And I'm so excited that they're blurring the lines between The Rock as a competitor and The Rock as the TKO board member. And it seems like the old Rock is back. There's even a clip of Triple H and The Rock getting into it. The Rock is Triple H's boss, technically, right? So this is really exciting. I don't know what they're doing exactly. All I know is that Cody and Roman is back on for WrestleMania, and that's what everybody wanted. I've seen some people turn on this and go, this isn't what I wanted. Sorry, guys. You don't get to pick every single, sign up to be a WWE writer if you want to pick every single thing that happens, but you're not going to be able to. But I am very excited about this. I don't think this was something that they did on purpose. Like I said, I think this is something that they pivoted and did a fantastic job of pivoting. Seth Rollins defending Cody, not because they're buds, but because he thinks what The Rock is doing is wrong. He constantly was screaming at The Rock, you can't just do whatever the fuck you want. Just because you're on the board. And The Rock's like, I can do whatever the fuck I want. It's just captivating. It's so cool. It's so good. And it's just another in a long line of great steps the WWE has made from a storyline standpoint to get as hot as they are right now. Also, shout out to CM Punk, who was on like a kind of panel with my guy Big E, by the way. Shout out to Big E as well. But was on a panel for the show and just talked about how he would punch The Rock if he were Cody Rhodes. So CM Punk is asking Cody Rhodes to get in a bit of a backstage scuffle, right? You can't write this shit. You can't make this shit up. CM Punk is literally telling Cody Rhodes to do what he got fired for in AEW, and I just think it's brilliant. Fantastic, legendary work by CM Punk. That's why he's one of my favorites. He just always knows what to say in the right moments. And I think I have like a supercut of all the times he told Cody to punch him. One time The Rock was on the stage, and The Rock could hear CM Punk. I would have punched The Rock, and you see The Rock turn around like, oh.
Listen, Cody's way too diplomatic. Somebody slaps you, you got to bust him right back in the mouth. That's what I would have done. I want to see Cody punch Rock right in the face. Who wants to see Cody punch Rock in the face? Yeah. I think he's got to stop with the stylist, and he's got to take his balls out of his purse, and he's got to punch somebody in the mouth. Period. That's what Seth's got to do. Pat makes a really good point, though. Rock is on the board.
Well, yeah.
So even, so Cody just got slapped by his boss. His boss put his hands on him. I'm throwing hands.
Yeah, but
I'm whipping everybody's ass. I don't care who it is. Listen, since I came back, there's a lot of man buns in the WWE, and a lot of them aren't attached to men, if you follow my drift, all right?
Hey,
punch people in the face.
Let them fight. You and I can talk about it.
Now, I am recording this before SmackDown, so it's very possible something happens at SmackDown, very likely something happens at SmackDown to continue this story. If it's something important, I'll try to add it on to the end of the video, and I'll do a separate outro so you won't see this, I guess. But if there's nothing, if it's not super important, I'll probably amend it because I can't just keep editing this video as more things happen on the road to WrestleMania. But if you guys want to see more videos like this from me, please go down and let me know in the comments. I did this kind of on a whim because I had talked about wrestling I talked about the Royal Rumble in one of our other podcasts, and people wanted an update when this Cody Rhodes stuff started happening. So I said, hey, I've always kind of wanted to do wrestling content, so if you liked it, please let me know. And if you want me to update you more as we get closer to WrestleMania, let me know. Thanks everybody for watching, and hashtag We Want Cody.